fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and FFD tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. I'm Craig. That's Ken. We're your host tonight. Back in our sound room, running the audio, running the video, are TK and Heavy D. And here we are, show number 9, I think, in season 5. And Ken, I don't think TK and Heavy D have been missed a single show, much less been late either.
No, they haven't. Craig, they've been quite the duo this year. But they did take this on as their prime number one job. So, their other job that they used to have, they still have. It's just now their secondary position.
Side job, kind of
side job. So, they take pride in what they do back here, and we appreciate their efforts.
I think I'm going to talk to the Fish Report brass maybe on Monday morning. First thing Monday morning, see if I can get those guys maybe a raise.
Absolutely. A raise, maybe a shirt, a hat, something.
Yeah, something. They deserve it back there. But all right, Ken. Well, tonight we got a lot to cover, a lot of sports to talk about, a lot going on right now. Golf's over, but we're in the middle of volleyball playoffs, cross-country postseason, football's getting ready for the playoffs, and even basketball got fired up, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, Craig. Girls basketball tipped off last week for practice. Boys actually tip off this Friday for practice. Craig, and I often thought about it. You see a lot of these college teams doing Midnight Madness. Why don't these high school teams do Midnight Madness?
Yeah.
Imagine the fundraiser that you could have. Midnight Madness. Have somebody come in, be Dickie V, set up the ESPN table. Look at all the fun the students would have. They'd be going crazy, Craig. The band would be playing. The cheerleaders would be out there. Everybody would be going nuts.
I got the perfect guy for that.
Do you really?
I think I do. So,
all right.
Oh, anyway, tonight we're going to focus on cross country. We're going to focus on football, and we got a couple big interviews tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we do, Craig. Really looking forward to one of the top high school boy cross country runners in Division III this year. From Newton High School, Craig, it's Brady McBride. Brady's had a great season. He's the CCC Runner of the Year. Finished as district champion last week. Looking forward to an interview with him, Craig. And also we're going over to Fort Loramie. We're going to talk to one of the hottest football teams, the head coach over there, first-year mentor, Whit Parks of the Fort Loramie Redskins.
Yeah, looking forward to both those interviews. Before we get to that, though, tonight's trivia question is a cross-country question. Or not trivia question, poll question is a cross-country question.
Poll question, Craig. We're talking boys D3 Troy Regional cross country. Last week there were 4 district champions, Craig. The Anna Rockets, the Milton Union Bulldogs, Summit Country Day, and Cardington Lincoln. Craig, of these 4 teams, which district champion has the best chance to be Troy Regional champion Saturday afternoon?
All right, 4 good choices there. And if you're watching us on the Fish Report Live page, you can help us answer tonight's poll question. Just scroll down, answer the question. You can check the results out. If you're watching us on NK Telco or Game Face Ohio, Ken and I will have that result for you at the end of the show. All right, Ken, let's get things started. We're going to start out talking cross country. Last week we focused on the girls, had 3 of the Shelby County's best on this show. Tonight we're going to start with the boys, and you just mentioned 4 very good teams there heading to the Troy Regional. But as I look at the list of teams going there, there's 16 teams in all going to Troy. There's about 8 of them there that I can predict could finish in the top 4.
Yes, there is, Craig. Only 4 get to go. It's all going to matter. It's all about positioning. It's going to be a totally different race this Saturday than it was last Saturday because you got everybody filling in. You've got pretty much all quality teams there this week. You're not going to have near the gaps that you may have had last week or that you have in some of these conference meets. So when you got less gaps, you got more runners in those gaps, which add up to more points.
Yeah, who are some of those teams we got there up on the monitor?
Anna, Craig, they're coming in with the fastest average time. Milton Union, they were a district champion. Both of them teams. Cardington Lincoln was as well. Bacchus Trojans and Fort Loramie Redskins sitting there tied for that big 4 spot, Craig, but don't count out Summit Country Day, Russia, or even West Liberty Salem as far as that goes.
Yeah, like I said, 8 teams I think that could all battle for those top 4 positions. And then we also like to look at the individual race as well. A lot of tough individuals coming into that D3 race. Let's take a look at some of those.
Well, Craig, you've got Jacob Long from Cardington, Lincoln. He's been one of the top runners in Ohio all year. Brady McBride, of course, which we're going to have on our show here in just a minute. And his, individual guy that he runs a lot against there, Joey Adams from West Liberty Salem, he'll be right there. So I think it's going to be one of them 3, Craig. But don't count out Lucas Huber from Anna, Colin Ball, and Fort Loramie's got a couple real nice runners as well.
All right. Well, one of the guys you mentioned on that list, of course, was Brady McBride. You said he was the CCC Runner of the Year, last week's district champion. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Brady, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, we just mentioned you were the CCC Runner of the Year. That happened a couple weeks ago at your conference meet, and you ran a record-breaking time there of 15:45. Which actually broke the record of another pretty good runner in the Cross County Conference a couple years ago, and that was Clayton Murphy, who, by the way, represented the United States in the Pan Am Games this past summer. Brady, how does that make you feel beating that guy's record?
Yeah, that was a great accomplishment for me. It was pretty humbling breaking a record like that from Clayton, and you can't forget that he ran his record on a really hilly, muddy course, so I don't really know in reality whose performance was better, but it's definitely pretty cool to get that record.
All right, well, listen, your win in the CCC that a couple weeks ago also led your Newton Indians to their first ever team championship. Then last week at the district meet, you took first place, and the team qualified for this Saturday's regionals. That sounds like a pretty fun season so far, Brady. What's the team's mindset heading into the race this Saturday?
Yeah, it's been a really fun season. That was a big goal for us since the beginning of the season, was to get the team championship for our conference. So we were really excited to get that. And Saturday, we know we're kind of a long shot to get to state, but so there's no pressure. We're just going to go out and do the best we can.
Brady, hi, this is Ken. Let's talk a little bit about the individual battle that you've had for the last few years with fellow senior from West Liberty Salem, Joey Adams. You and Joey have ran against each other several times during the regular season. You met against each other last year several times, including the postseason. The constant battle between the two of you, do you actually look for him on the course? Does he look for you? Do you try to pace off each other? Do you try to help each other? And what is your relationship like with Joey?
Yeah, me and Joey have a great relationship. He actually came up and talked to me a little bit on the starting line before the race Saturday. We haven't got to race each other in a while, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, we're great friends off the course, and he's a great competitor. So we've been duking it out ever since junior high days, so it's been a lot of fun racing him over the years.
Brady, let's talk a little bit about the course Saturday. The Troy Regional, Craig and I, we love going there, as do all the other spectators. It's just a great course to watch a regional cross-country meet at. Give us this perspective from a runner. What's the course like, and what are your thoughts on the course?
I really like the course. It's pretty tough. The levee hills are really, a lot of people really underestimate them. They take a lot out of you. And footing's really uneven, so it's a tough course for sure, but I really like the atmosphere. You can't beat it there in Troy. All the people standing on top of the levee. It's pretty neat.
Brady, one more question. I'll turn it back over to Craig. Let's talk post-high school career. I know you've got some time to go here. You've got cross-country. You've got track coming up. But what's Brady's plans for college? Are you planning on running, or what have you got in the future?
Yeah, I'm definitely running in college. I have a pretty good idea at this point where I'm going, but I'm not quite ready to say. I'm planning on announcing that pretty soon.
Okay, Brady, listen, one more question and we'll let you go. But listen, Ken and I, we've been around for a little while, and long before we were familiar with you as a runner, we were familiar with your dad, Pat, and that's because he's been on the Southwest District Athletic Board for a while now, and we've watched him hand out a few district basketball championship trophies to the local high school teams over the years. He's also the superintendent over there at Newton Local. So I want to ask you, being a superintendent's son, has that allowed you to get away with a lot more trouble than your classmates during your time in high school?
No, definitely not. It actually is quite the opposite. I haven't really been able to get away with anything. Anytime I act up, he's normally waiting on me outside the classroom. So.
All right, well, listen, hey, thanks for joining us tonight on the show. Best of luck this weekend. Best of luck the rest of the postseason. We look forward to seeing you this Saturday.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Brady.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that was Newton senior Brady McBride. And Ken, I think as long as he doesn't fall in the river on Saturday, I think he's going to qualify for the state meet.
Well, Craig, he's got a lot of experience. He's a great runner. He's been through this before, and I look for Brady to come to the top. I don't know that he's going to win it, but he's definitely got a chance to win in the race Saturday. He's going to be up there near the top, and he's got some great competition and looks for some pretty fast times. I think the weather's going to be pretty nice Saturday, and it's going to be a great race. All
right. Well, one guy that we did mention tonight that wasn't on that list, and I know we got a few Fort Loramie fans watching the show tonight, is Fort Loramie freshman Jake Raithman. He was actually the SCAL Runner of the Year. Didn't run quite so well last week at the district meet, did he?
No, he didn't, Craig. He finished 32nd. I'm sure a big disappointment for him. However, he was under the weather all week. He gave a real gutsy performance. And, for a freshman, I seen him run at the Shelby County League meet over in Russia a couple weeks ago. Had an outstanding race. He's had a great season this year, Craig. He's led that Fort Loramie team. They've got a really good team over there. And look for him to rebound this weekend, Troy. And, he could be right up there in the mix as well.
Yeah, he ran a 16:10 at that Shelby County meet, which is really fast. And if he can run anything close to that on Saturday, which is going to be difficult, but if he can, he's going to, like you said, be right there in the mix. All right, well, listen, that's going to do it for the first half of our show. We're going to take a short break, but stay there because when we come back, we're going to talk some football, including that interview with Fort Loramie coach Whit Parks.
Stage at the leaving van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. Teacher, cat, and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. We're all a little broken, looking for a place to hide. Get no answers, don't ask any questions. We're all here just looking for a high. And we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of Fish Report Live. And Ken, I feel a little bad. Last week on this show, we had on Bradford football coach Nathan Hyatt, and we're talking playoffs with him. And I feel like maybe we jinxed them after what happened on Saturday night to their team.
Playoffs? You're talking playoffs?
We were talking playoffs with them.
Playoffs. We were talking Bradford Railroad football. We did mention playoffs. We had heard about some playoff talk over there in Bradford. But, Coach Hyatt's done a great job with that football program, Craig. They ran into a buzzsaw last week up around by taking on a very good Fairview team. Craig, they got a tough game this week as well. But, they got 4 wins this year. He's done a fantastic job getting kids to buy back into the program. They're having a lot of fun over there. Actually, I talked to a fellow Bradford fan this week about the Railroaders, and he said, win or lose, we got football again, and we're doing well, and they're excited over there, and it's all because of Coach Hyatt.
All right, well, I feel a little bit better now after you telling me that.
Yeah, so, everything's fine.
All right, well, listen, we've talked some MAC football on the show this season. We've talked some GWalk football, talked some CCC football last week. This week, we're going to talk some NWCC football, and I believe we've got the standings on that since we haven't looked at it. Let's check them out in Week 9. Where are they at, Ken?
Yeah, Craig, we got Riverside and Fort Loramie both tied at 5-1. Upper Scioto and Lehman sitting up 4-2. It's been a very competitive league this year, Craig. And, the Fort Loramie Redskins, we're going to talk about their season here in just a little bit. But them sitting at 5-1, no surprise to me.
Yeah, you're right. It's they're right up top there again. And in a couple years, they're going to be moving over to the CCC. So we'll see what that's like in 2017. But, Ken, sometime on this show, I got to admit, myself and the sound room guys, we kind of question your intelligence, your sports knowledge, and what you all know. And as a matter of fact, I think I've actually heard Heavy D and TK back there questioning as well. Heavy D, what do you think?
I've known Ken for a lot of years. He talks fast, he talks loud, he waves his hands. There's a lot of distraction, a lot of shell game. Go with that. I don't know.
Well, every once in a while, Ken, I got to give you credit. Every once in a while, you prove us wrong. And about 5 weeks ago, you did just that. And
you wouldn't happen to have that on tape, would you?
Yeah, I think we do. Let's check it out, guys.
One other game on there that we have not mentioned a word about is Fort Loramie Waynesfield Goshen. We both stayed away from that one, Craig. Take the Redskins by about 4 touchdowns in that one, Craig. The Redskins, like I said last week, I thought they were going to lose last week, so they're a little better than I thought they were going to be. Coach Parks is going to go 6-4. You watch.
He has got his first win last week. You think he's on a roll now?
He's going to win 6 straight to wrap up the season. Really? Did I said that, right?
You said
I know
that.
I know I did. What is this, pick on Ken night or what? I told you, I know my sports.
Well, like I said, sometimes we question you, but in this case, you proved us wrong.
Well, that's right. That's right. So.
Well, listen, our next guest tonight should probably have you on his staff, but I think he's been doing okay without you, and that's because, like I said, he's on a heck of a winning streak right now.
He knows a lot more about football than I know.
He does. I'm glad you admit that. But he's the head coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins. He's Whit Park. We're happy to have him live on the phone right now. Coach Park, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, listen, we just watched a clip from one of our shows a little earlier this season, Coach, and it was after your win against Hardin Northern. You were heading into the Waynesfield Goshen game, and Ken here in the studio predicted you would win the rest of the games on your schedule, and you got one more to go yet this Friday night. I want to ask you, after your 0-4 start this season, how confident were you that you were going to turn things around?
Well, it seems like he knew a lot more than I did at that time because I didn't know for sure, but 0-4 is not a very pleasant thing. But we just kept coaching our kids, and we knew how difficult our schedule was in the beginning of the season, and we had lost a couple of key people in the beginning of the season. So, we were in a tough spot. We just told our kids we were just going to keep our heads down and keep moving forward. And to their credit, they have been absolutely great. They never gave up, never gave in. They fought the whole time, and they've done just like we ask them to do, take one game at a time and be ready to play each week, and I'm really proud of them for that.
All right, well, one of those key people that went down, I believe, was Austin Siegel. He was your quarterback, went down with a season-ending injury early in the schedule, and then you kind of went to this single-wing offense where you basically snapped the ball to either Drew Werman or Wes Putoff and let them take off, and it's obviously been successful looking at your record. But, Coach, what determines the success of that single wing? Is it good running backs, blocking? What is it?
Well, it's single wing is no different than any other offense in that blocking and toughness are the key to the whole thing. It depends a great deal on to do this on whether you have that guy who can run it and throw it both. And Drew Werman can do that for us, and he's done a fabulous job with that so far. But the uniqueness of it probably, and I would say we're probably the only people right now running in Ohio,
there aren't very many people who do run it. The uniqueness of it is that nobody else does it. And, I've been head football coach for 35 years, and I've used this probably 13 or 14 of those years because I've always believed that you've got to fit your offense to your talent. So we're not afraid to be different, and it surely is different than a lot of people are doing today.
Coach, hi. This is Ken. Let's talk a little bit about the last regular season game you have. Like Craig said, after your big win against Hardin Northern, I could tell the Redskins had a lot of talent. I thought things were going to gel for you. I'm glad they have. You got one regular season game left. That's Friday night against Lima Perry. On paper, again, it looks like should be a Redskin victory, at least the way I see it. How do you feel about this game, and what concerns you about Lima Perry?
Yeah, the one thing I am concerned about is you don't play it on paper. And, we're down here at the end, and we know that we have one shot here, and we have to win. So I hope our kids come out and play with great passion, great enthusiasm this week. I think they will, so we can go win this football game at Perry. But Perry's a dangerous football team. They've given a lot of people in our league a lot of good games. They've got good skilled kids. But, we've risen to the occasion for 5 weeks now, and I don't see why we wouldn't do that again this week. So I think we've had a great week of practice so far in preparation. Our kids seem ready to play.
Coach, I know you're focused on this game Friday night. It's a must-win game. But right now, looking at the computer rankings, you're sitting at the number 8 spot. A win would pretty much solidify a postseason spot again for the Fort Loramie Redskins. And if things fall the way they look, it would mean a trip just up the road to the north a little bit to the Minster Wildcats. Your old football team, a team that you faced in week 1. How would you relish getting another shot at the Wildcats?
Well, I'll be really honest with you. We have not even thought about who we would play in the playoffs. We've kept an eye on how close we are, and we've monitored those things. And we've talked to our players about what's at the end here if we do win these football games. But we have been so focused these past 6 weeks on just winning the next football game, and I truly mean that. I mean, we just took it one game at a time, and 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, who would ever have thought we weren't even in a playoff picture? So we just, like I said, we just put our head down and we said, we're going to take it 1 week at a time, and we have really done that. And we'll worry about who we're going to play if this happens this week.
All right, Coach. Hey, listen, one more question, and we'll let you go. But every Friday night on your staff there, you get a coach with a former player of yours that you had over there at Minster, who also happens to be your son, Ty. And
right.
I want to ask you what your relationship is like with being a former coaching him as a former player and now getting to coach with him as a former or as an assistant coach.
Yeah. Well, it's a father-son relationship. It was that back when he played for me, and it surely is now also, and that'll never change. But, he's an adult now, and it's just like all father and son relationships, things change as they become adults. But, now we're really good friends, and he's really a bright young coach, and it has been a lot of fun coaching with him. I feel very fortunate to be able to do this with him. Because I think it's a great profession. I think it's one where you can really have impact on young people. And I'm glad he's a coach. I'm glad he decided to make this his profession, because it sure has been good to me for the last 40 years.
Coach, well, listen, we wish you the best of luck Friday night. We thank you a lot for being on our show with us. You've done a great job with the Fort Loramie Redskin program this year, continuing the winning tradition over there. You've battled through some injuries, and, you've really turned that team around this year. So best of luck to you Friday night. You get a shot at the playoffs, good luck there. And, again, thank you for being part of our show tonight.
Well, thanks for having me on. Go Redskins.
Thanks, Coach. All right, that was the head coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins, Whit Parks. And Kenny mentioned 35, 40 years of coaching. The guy's a legend, and when you've been around that long, you're obviously doing something right, aren't you?
Yeah, he has, Craig. He's won a lot of football games over the years, and, like he said, he's got to do what works. He runs that single wing. He's run it for 12, 13 years, and, hey, if it's working, why not use it?
Yeah. That's for sure. All right, well, listen, that's going to wrap up our football talk. I do want to go back to the sound room again, and like I mentioned at the top of the show, we got volleyball playoffs going on. Our guy for that, of course, is TK. So let's check in with TK. And TK, what's cooking on this Saturday in volleyball?
Well, this Saturday in volleyball, we've got the district championships going on. Looking right here at Division III in Tip City. Locally, we've got Versailles going up against Reading. That's going to be a big battle for Versailles. I'm not sure how that's going to come out for them. That's a tough Reading team. I've looked at their schedule and a lot of 3-0 wins for that team. So a big battle there. We've got Miami East against Baden. I'd favor Miami East. Looks good there. And then Anna against Roger Bacon, another of our Shelby County teams. Anna's looking strong coming into that game, so I'd look for them to move on. So that's the action there in the D3. We've got D4 action there. Fort Loramie and Fairlawn. I know we're talking about how well Ken can pick a football league or a football team in their schedule. I think somebody might have talked about Fairlawn Jets getting hot.
Let's give it up for TK.
Give it up for TK in the sound room.
And I tell you
TK loves his Fairlawn Jets. Him and Wade Wilhelm drinking coffee together over there at the Pasco Pub.
Wade Wilhelm?
Isn't he their coach?
No, he's not their coach anymore.
Sorry, TK. Go ahead.
That's all right. They're hot. The Jets are a scrappy young team. And I tell you what, if Fort Loramie lets them get their foot in the door, I'd watch out. The Jets will walk out with the district championship there. That's going to be a heck of a battle. Looking at the rest of those games, we've got Jackson Center against Cincinnati Christian. That should be Jackson Center. And Lehman's going to take on Miami Valley. And I'd say Lehman's going to walk out with that. Just too much experience on those sides for anything else to happen. So a lot of volleyball going on both in Tip City and Troy this Saturday.
Well, Craig, you've seen those 3 brackets for Division 4. The 4th team that will fall into that regional with those 3 winners is a big battle out of the MAC, Craig. And who are we going to have in that one?
New Bremen, New Knoxville. I believe they play Thursday.
Yeah, they do. New Bremen, New Knoxville. Big MAC battle there for the finals of the district championship. I think that game's played in Coldwater, maybe, not for sure. But, that'll be a great game as well. So it's going to be a tough regional volleyball.
And, of course, we had New Bremen star Paige Jones on this show not too long ago as well.
Yeah, we did.
All right, Ken, that's about going to wrap it up for us tonight. I do have one more thing to get to, and that is tonight's poll question. So why don't you read the poll question, and we'll have TK check on the Fish Report telemetrics.
The Division III boys cross country district champion teams from last week included Anna, Milton Union, Summit Country Day, and Cardington Lincoln. Which of these boys Division III teams has the best chance to be crowned Troy regional champion this Saturday?
All right, 4 good choices there. And TK, what do you got on the Fish Report telemetrics? Any help?
Well, we checked the telemetrics. For some reason, it's not showing the number of people that are voting tonight, so I'm not sure if it's 100 or 100,000, but everybody is picking Anna to walk away with the championship come Saturday.
Well, I think that's a pretty good pick right there.
Yeah, if you remember those average times, it looked like they were number 1 in that. So, if they run well, that would be my pick as well.
Coach Stewart's got them running very well. I know Fort Loramie did beat them at the Shelby County League meet. Fort Loramie's got a great team this year. I hope you guys do well, and I think you'll be one of the 4 teams to get out on Saturday. The thing is, with a more competitive meet and a lot more runners, it gives Anna strength. Makes them a lot tougher to beat. So look for the Rockets to perform well on Saturday.
All right. Well, I'm sure I'm going to see some of the Fish Report viewers out at Troy on Saturday. But until then, this is Craig and Ken signing off for TK and Heavy D as well. Have a great rest of the week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Hanging at the Fish Report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the Fish Report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the Fish Report, hanging at the Fish